How's it going? I'm going to be talking about crowdfunding today. For those of you who don't know what crowdfunding is really any time or any situation a group of people get together and decide to pool their money to support an idea or some kind of project. The history of crowdfunding starts with social media, online communities, and online payment. It's kind of the triangle of crowdfunding. The first example of crowdfunding came in 1997 when a British rock band decided to crowdfund, and they raised $60,000 to go on tour. Ever since, they've recorded 3 albums, and they've done another tour solely on crowdfunding dollars. The first film to be made using crowdfunding was a French film that I will not pronounce because I don't speak French, but in 2000, 2 producers from France got together and they raised $50,000 and ultimately created that film. The first website dedicated solely to crowdfunding is called ArtistShare. It was launched in 2002 and it's created for artists and musicians. So there are many players within the world of crowdfunding. The most recognizable is Kickstarter. I'm going to show you a website or an example from their website of a company called wanted to raise $50,000 and they end up raising $257,000 and they have about 1,600 people backing them. So let's take a look.
Hi, I'm Britta. I run the Window Farms project here in Brooklyn, New York. Window farms are vertical hydroponic gardens that let you grow some of your own food indoors, even during the winter. There's a pump on a timer that sends liquid nutrient solution directly to your plant's root systems, so you get great nutrition in small spaces. Until now, window farms have been made out of water bottles using our open source website. But the water bottle versions take a lot of time to put together, and not everybody who wants a window farm is MacGyver. So with your help, this is what the new window farms are going to look like. I asked a couple of top industrial designers and engineers to help us make beautiful new window farms that just snap together and make it so easy to care for your plants. You can keep it simple by growing salad greens and herbs, or you can go big with things like strawberries, cherry tomatoes, and peppers. You don't have to have a green thumb. There are 22,000 of us window farmers online, and we are committed to making sure that we all know how to grow. I want more of you to come join us in knowing where at least some of our own food comes from, and being able to grow produce at home that's fresh, crisp, bursting with flavor, and pretty much as local as it gets. I want more of you to have the joy of nature at eye level, and to be able to share that with your friends and your families. Okay, so here's the deal. In order to get the new window farms produced, we need 500 of you new window farmers to come on board right now, all at once. With 500 pre-orders, we can afford to get the molds made, and we can meet the minimum production quantities. But if we can get 2,000 of you guys to come on board right now, we can afford to get the new window farms produced here in the States. So if you ever wanted a window farm, or your mom wanted one, or your kid's teacher wanted one, or your boyfriend wanted one, now is the time. The way Kickstarter works, we either hit the minimum and we all get window farms, or none of us do. So how about this? Why don't you be the first person on your block to get a window farm? And then tell your neighbors about it, so that 6 months from now, you guys can be swapping tips about your strawberries and your cherry tomatoes and your arugula, and we'll all be learning together how to grow again. And at that point, when everyone's doing it, you and I and anyone who comes to our website is going to know that you were one of the ones who helped make it all happen. And if I see you on the street at that point, I'm going to jump on you and I'm going to give you a hug, and I am going to say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for helping make this happen.
Okay, so that's that's window farms. So there are many applications when it comes to crowdfunding. Some of the most well-known are startup companies, films, even microbreweries, and medical apparatuses. If you look at the graph below, This is showing you the number of sites launched per year worldwide, and within the last decade, growth has been almost exponential. And if you look between 2009 and 2011, the number of sites launched has almost doubled. The U.S. currently leads the market share when it comes to crowdfunding, and then that's followed by a few countries in Europe, and Brazil is in 5th place with 6% of the market share. There are a few approaches that crowdfunding sites use. One is called artistic patronage. This is usually used with bands. So for example, a band will go on Kickstarter and maybe they want to raise $5,000. Someone will support that cause, not looking for any return on their investment. They just maybe want to see their music produced. They're a fan of that band. The next approach is called sponsorship display. And if you look to the right, this is an example of sponsorship display. This is called the $1 Million Homepage. It was launched in 2005 by a British university student who was trying to raise money to go to college. And so what he did was he created a website with 1 million pixels and sold each pixel for $1. And like I said, he raised $1 million doing this. And if you look to the top left, it looks like a casino invested, and then like hosting sites. All kinds of companies decided to invest in this. Another approach is microfinance. This is made famous by Kiva. They're an organization that extends credit to people in poor countries so they can start businesses. Another approach is quasi-equity investment. I'll get into this more later, but crowdfunding falls within a gray area when it comes to the law. It's not legal for a company to go out and seek investment without filing the proper paperwork with the Securities and Exchange Commission, which is the federal commission that oversees business and securities and things like that. The last approach is called the threshold approach. This is the traditional way of doing it. This is how Kickstarter does it. Basically, it's all or nothing. Say a band wants to raise $5,000. If they reach that minimum, then they keep whatever, if it's $5,000 or if it's more, they get to keep that amount. But if they don't reach $5,000, then they don't get any of the investment that people decided to submit. The crowd is nigh is a phrase going around in the industry right now. It's a very British phrase. Nigh can be translated to near, so the crowd is near, and it's just kind of saying the crowd is near. The crowdfunding is like the next thing. It's coming, and so it's just trying to make light of that. There are many legal issues when it comes to crowdfunding. The most important one is intellectual property. So a lot of people are fearful to upload their idea to a website like Kickstarter because they're afraid that someone is going to steal their idea, that maybe someone with more resources might be able to copy them and go to market quicker. An organization called FanFunded has come to Kickstarter saying that they have copied their patent. In 2008, I believe, FanFunded secured a patent for methods and apparatuses for financing and marketing a creative work, and they have threatened Kickstarter with a lawsuit. Kickstarter has come back and said, you know what, this patent needs to be invalidated. Everyone in the industry is doing it. It doesn't match. It's not current. It's not up to date. And so we'll see what happens. And this is a big deal because Kickstarter is really the titan of this industry, and FanFunded may be spoiling their party, so to say. Like I talked about earlier, crowdfunding is in a gray area when it comes to securities law. It's really technically illegal for a lot of these organizations to be doing what they're doing because they have to be filing the proper paperwork with the SEC, and they're not doing that. In response, a group called the Startup Exemption has been lobbying in Washington, D.C. to change those laws. And actually last week, President Obama signed the Jobs Act, which will allow crowdfunding and raises the amount that you can get, that you can raise, and also the number of people that are allowed to invest in your idea. That's my PowerPoint on crowdfunding. I hope that you liked it. Thank you very much.